Good evening from Washington, D.C., and thank you to those of you joining us from around the world for news from a Catholic perspective. I'm Lauren Ashburn. President Trump and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell say they share the same agenda to move America forward, despite media reports. The two are discussing legislative priorities like health care and tax reform. White House Correspondent Mark Irons reports. Good evening, Mark.
Good evening, Lauren. President Trump and Majority Leader McConnell met in the White House today and are pledging to work together on GOP goals. Those goals include pro-life legislation, and both leaders say their relationship is just fine.
President Trump says he and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell are closer than ever before.
My relationship with this gentleman is outstanding, has been outstanding.
And Senator McConnell is pushing back against the notion that he and Trump are at odds.
We have the same agenda. We've been friends and acquaintances for a long time. We talk frequently. We don't give you a readout every time we have a conversation, but frequently we talk on the weekends about the issues that are before us.
But the president has repeatedly blamed McConnell for the failure of the GOP Congress to repeal and replace Obamacare after years of promises to dismantle the law. Last week, the president moved to slash federal subsidies for Obamacare on his own.
What the president is doing is affecting the ability of vulnerable people to receive health care right now.
Senator Susan Collins, a moderate from Maine, was a pivotal no vote on health care and voted against the 20-week abortion ban in 2015.
Mr. President, you've talked about your support for the 20-week abortion ban bill. How important is this bill to you?
I asked the president if he would talk about his support for the 20-week abortion ban. He turned it over to Senator McConnell.
Well, I'll let Mitch. You want to talk about that, Mitch?
Was the question about the 20-week
abortion ban bill? What are you going to do to
Yeah, well, it's supported by virtually all of my members, and we expect to have a vote on it at some point.
The 20-week abortion ban bill would make it unlawful with limited exceptions to perform an abortion after 20 weeks of pregnancy. The bill has passed the House, and as you heard, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell expects a vote at some point in the Senate. That bill will need 60 votes, though, which will require some Democrat support. Lauren.
Mark, Leader McConnell said the single most significant thing the president has done to change America is the appointment of Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch. And the president was complaining that they can't get federal judges through.
That's right, Lauren. The president says he just wants really capable people going to the courts. He also slammed Democrats in Congress for obstructing his nominations to federal benches. But he added there are people of extraordinary quality in the pipeline awaiting approval. Lauren.
Thank you so much, Correspondent Mark Irons. Nice job getting a question into the president. We'll talk to you soon. Joining us now is our Capitol Hill correspondent, Jason Calvi. We heard Mitch McConnell promise a vote at some point on this 20-week abortion ban. When can we expect it, and what is the likelihood of it passing?
I just spoke with Lindsey Graham's office. He's the sponsor of this 20-week abortion bill, and they say they're pushing for a vote, but they don't know anything about timing. I know some pro-lifers really want to see this vote take place in January. You know, the Senate right now is really engaged with pushing tax reform and the budget and a lot of other issues. So January seems like the first chance they'll really have to tackle this. But it's very, very unlikely to pass the Senate. That's because it needs 60 votes in that chamber, and Republicans only have 52 votes. And plus, as we heard in Mark's package there, his story there, Susan Collins, Senator Susan Collins of Maine voted against it. Lisa Murkowski of Alaska was absent the last time they voted. So they're going to need at least 9 or 10 Democrats to vote for it.
Not gonna happen.
They got 3 votes last time from people like Joe Donnelly of Indiana, Bob Casey of Pennsylvania, and Joe Manchin of West Virginia. So they've got 3 last time.
But that means we're not really looking at this 20-week abortion ban bill passing. And the United States, unlike other countries, is one falling behind. Other countries have this kind of bill in place. Let's move on, though. You cover Capitol Hill, and you know all about government dysfunction. You see it every day. Well, up close and personal. What does it mean to have the President of the United States and the Senate Majority Leader standing side by side saying, hey, we're friends, we're on the same team. We have the same agenda.
We are best friends. It was incredible to see that happen because this comes right after Steve Bannon, that's the president's former senior advisor, coming out at the Values Voter Summit this weekend saying we are going to wage war against the GOP establishment. This comes after his candidate, Roy Moore, beat the incumbent, Senator Luther Strange, in the Alabama GOP primary.
And
It's
that
a huge
is
win.
McConnell's candidate.
Luther Strange was backed by McConnell and President Trump, and Bannon backed Roy Moore, and Roy Moore won.
Right, and so there is going to be, it looks like, from the president's former advisor, a big fight against McConnell. You see Trump lining up with McConnell, which makes sense because Bannon is out. Will this friendship make any difference when they are working with Senate Democrats?
It's interesting because you saw the president bashing the Democrats today as being obstructionists, getting in the way, especially on the judicial nominations. There's something like 150 open judicial seats. I think the president's nominated 50, and they're really, and we see the Democrats playing the clock out on all of those nominations, going for every single procedural hurdle they can put at those nominees.
So the answer is pretty much no.
No, but I know that having them stand on that same stage today was a big sign that the war in the GOP party, at least the president doesn't back that war. He wants to be with McConnell, at least publicly right now.
The unifier. All right. Thank you so much, Jason Calvi, our Capitol Hill correspondent.